The economy and job market are picking up quickly. If you're a job seeker looking to advance your career, or if you're an entrepreneur looking to start or expand your business, BrightPathSearch.com has the resources to assist you. For job seekers at any stage, BrightPathSearch.com can perfect your resume and cover letter, help you prepare for your interview, and offer leads for networking. For entrepreneurs, BrightPathSearch.com can help you get access to government contracts or even help you start your business. There's no need to go at it alone. For a free consultation for job seekers or small business services, email j@brightpathsearch.com or visit the website www.brightpathsearch.com. Another story that we like to talk about in American history. Now, this one is out of the city of East St. Louis, Illinois. It was the scene of one of the bloodiest race riots in the 20th century. So it said the racial tensions began to increase in February 1917 when 470 African-American workers were hired to replace white workers who had gone on strike against the aluminum ore company. Now, I say the violence started on May 28, 1917, shortly after a city council meeting was called. It said angry white workers lodged formal complaints against the black migrations to the mayor of East St. Louis. They said after the meeting had ended, it said news of an attempted robbery of a white man by an armed black man began to circulate the city. They said as a result of the news, white mobs formed and rampaged through downtown, beating all African Americans who were found. So these white supremacists would just run around, just, hey, black, let's get him. They say the mobs also stopped trolleys and streetcars, pulling black passengers out and beating them on the streets and sidewalks. Now, complete savages. And they want to talk about you and what you have done. When have black folks roamed around just pulling white folks in mass out of cars? For one of them gets silly, like, what about Reginald Denny? One dude out of how many black folks? Now, Illinois Governor Frank O. Loudon eventually had called in the National Guard to quell the violence, and the mob slowly dispersed. They say the May 28 disturbances were only a prelude to the violence that erupted in July 2nd, 1917. So they said after the May 28 white supremacist terror riots, it said little was done to prevent any further problems, and no precautions were taken to ensure that white job security or to grant union recognition. So they said this further increased the already high level hostilities toward black Americans. Now, basically, you wanted to go on strike. These people needed some people to work. Black people say, I need a job. I'll go take that job. They can do whatever they want to. And now they want to get mad and want to attack and kill black folks because they're not getting their way. When they don't get their way, they want to start acting, like we see today. Oh, Elliot Rodger, she don't like me. She likes other people, other guys. She likes black guys. So let me go and attack people at a college. That sort of thing, right? Just not getting your way. So it said no reforms were made in the police force, which did little to quell the violence in May. That's like today. I mean, what's happening? They always talk about police reform. They were trying to do police reform way back then. These people don't care. Like I say, these people are the same. Once you study history, you realize they're the same. They're not going to change. I told you on TikTok, if you have a TikTok, it's the culture. White supremacy is their culture. When you do something for hundreds and hundreds of years, constantly, it's in the culture at this point. That's their culture. It's not ours. So it said that Governor Loudon ordered the National Guard out of the city, it said on June the 10th, leaving residents of East St. Louis in an uneasy state of high racial tension. So on July 2nd, 1917, the violence resumed. Men, women, and children were beaten and shot to death. They say around 6 o'clock that evening, white mobs began to set fire to homes of black residents. So residents had to choose between burning alive in their homes or run out of the burning homes, only to be met with gunfire. So imagine that. These white supremacists show up to the homes of black people and just start burning them up. And if you run out, because naturally you don't want to get burnt up, they're shooting you. It all goes back to competition and not competing. See, you have to understand that they never had to compete. And when they have been in a position where they had to compete, they start fighting and getting violent with you and want to burn you out your house and kill you. OK, so they say in other parts of the city, white mobs began to lynch African Americans against the backdrop of burning buildings. To say as darkness came and the National Guard returned, the violence began to wane but did not come to a complete stop. They say in response to the rioting, the NAACP sent W.E.B. Du Bois and Martha Gruning to investigate the incident. They compiled a report entitled Massacre at East St. Louis, which was published in the NAACP's magazine, The Crisis. Now, the NAACP, staged a silent protest in New York City in response to the violence. Now, what is silent protest going to do? But continue. They say thousands of well-dressed African Americans marched down Fifth Avenue, showing their concern about the events in East St. Louis. Now, the Universal Negro Improvement Association also responded to the violence on July 8th, 1917. The UNIA's president, Marcus Garvey, said, "This is a crime against the laws of humanity, and it's a crime against the laws of a nation. It's a crime against nature. It's a crime against God of all mankind." Now, he also believed the riot was a part of a large conspiracy against African Americans who migrated to the North in search for a better life. He said the whole thing, my friends, he said, is a bloody farce. He said, and the police and the soldiers did nothing to stem the murder thirst of the mob and its conspiracy, and on the part of civil authorities to condone the acts of the white mob against Negroes. Now, you talk about the mob. You saw that the mob once again, January the 6th. Like, their mobs is nothing new. What you saw is their history. Right there, once again, a white mob showing up to try to destroy something. I'm only relating history, ladies and gentlemen. So it said a year after the riot, it said a special committee formed by the United States House of Representatives launched investigations into police actions in the East St. Louis riot. Investigators found the National Guard and the East St. Louis police had not acted adequately during the riots. It said revealing the police often fled the scenes, of murder and arson. Some even fled from station houses and refused to answer calls for help. It said the investigation resulted in the indictment of several members of the East St. Louis police force. So that's, the story of the East St. Louis riot and everything that happened and white supremacist terrorism. Even in that newspaper, say 100 Negroes shot, burned, clubbed to death in East St. Louis race war. Now this, like I said, this is American history that they do not teach any of you, and they didn't teach me this either, in public school. And this is what the Republicans is trying to stop you to learn. They can tell them teachers they can't teach you this, but they're not going to tell me I can't teach you, because I'm not bound by what they say. I'm not no teacher in no public school, and I'm not no teacher in no college, but we sure can teach here. So what do we learn about this? Once again, black people were the victims of white supremacist terrorism. This is why these people can't tell me nothing, because I know their history. I know what they're capable of. I see the things that they have been doing. They're still doing it today in 2021. They have not changed from 1917 to 2021. It's no change. That mob January the 6th is no different than what they've been doing. It's not nothing new. That's why they try to hurry up and change the subject. That's why they want to bring it up. This is why they want to keep it quiet, because if you look at that mob, then you're going to say, what other times they had mobs, right? Well, leave me a comment. Let me think about the situation in this American history lesson, because we got to learn this history. And one thing is like this: when you are equipped with the history, they say that learn your history or you're going to be doomed to repeat it. They don't want you to know this history, because when they start talking to you crazy and you know this history and you start letting them know about their history and what they have done, murdering, raping, pillaging, and theft, and do all the things to black people, they can't tell you a single solitary thing.
In search of a financial opportunity to pay off student loans, a young black American woman moves to South Korea to work. As the author, Bootsy W. recalls culture shock and fun adventures in a country far from home. She's also faced with anti-black racism and featureism, quickly learning that white supremacy is practiced not only by whites, but by those that are categorized as people of color. Based on her 10 years of living abroad, the book Ago Igo compares and contrasts Korea versus the United States on subjects such as code, communal living, racism, effective protests, global alliances, warrior class, music, political correctness, health, aging, money, and the coronavirus. This blunt memoir is uncomfortable, humorous, and educational. Help fight propaganda and mainstream agendas by picking up a copy of Ago Igo on Amazon.com.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out the African Diaspora News Channel app in the Google Play and Apple App Store.